How do we future-proof our HMO portfolios or businesses, and why is it so important? Well, that sounds like a good place to start. For me, I think there are a number of reasons why this is really at the top of my agenda. Every time I'm thinking about buying something, everything that I'm adding into my portfolio, I'm also thinking, as well as how can I make this work today? How do I make this work in 3 years? How do I make it work in 5 years? How do I make this work in 10 years? Okay, they are so important. We can forget the Instagrammable pictures. HMO property investments is about so much more than how good our properties look. Yes, of course, it's really important that our properties do look good, that we attract the right tenants and that they really stand out, they jump off the page. But that's not what running a successful HMO portfolio or business is about. That's about future-proofing it. That's about making sure that it works today, tomorrow, next year, and so on and so on and so on. We want to make sure that we are totally solid. And that means we've got to have a very long view on what we're trying to achieve here. And I think that this is a really important thing for us all to understand. But I get it. It can be quite difficult to understand exactly what we need to do to future-proof our HMO portfolios or our businesses. For many of us, including myself, this is something that we learn. We try things, we find out that they don't quite work. Perhaps we should have done something slightly better. We should have used different types of furniture. Maybe this wasn't the best location. Maybe we've put too many rooms in, or maybe we should have put the en-suites in there. But in this episode, I'm going to give you as much advice based on my experience and everybody that I know investing in HMOs, and all my podcast guests so far have shared with me, so that you can do it too. You can install all of this into what you're doing today, and hopefully your properties continue to work for years and years and years to come without you having to do anything significantly different, without having to invest significant amounts of money back into your portfolios, which of course is always one of the big risks here. If we don't get this quite right, it could cost us a lot of money, it could cost us a huge amount of time, and actually in a worst case scenario we could find that our investments just don't work, and that would be absolutely disastrous, particularly because we can resolve all of this now. We can settle this problem now. We can make sure that we are solid for the next 10 years by doing a few simple things right now. So I've got a list of 10 things here that I want you to be thinking about. I'm going to list them for you now, and then we're going to go through them one by one. First of all, we're going to talk about finance and stress testing. Number 2, we're going to talk about prioritizing location. Number 3, we're going to talk about operating your portfolio like a business. Number 4, we're going to talk about knowing your liabilities and the legislation. Number 5, we're going to talk about staying ahead of the curve. Number 6, we're going to talk about using durable materials. So important if you're running HMOs, particularly if you've got students who can be a bit heavy-handed. Number 7, we're going to talk about providing a superior management service. Number 8, we're going to talk about periodic inspections and improvements. Number 9, we're going to talk about the importance of playing long, seeing long, having a long view on what we're doing. And number 10, we're going to talk about nurturing our contacts and our relationships. I actually think that beyond making sure that the initial deal looks right, this is the only other thing that matters. Make sure that you get your deal right in the first place and that everything's balanced and you understand it. Then make sure that this is going to work for the next 10 years. If you do that, I promise you that you will make a lot of money over the long term. You'll keep a lot of tenants housed and very happy. You'll provide some great accommodation in your local community, but you'll also build an incredible business. But you have to think long. You've got to future-proof your portfolio or your investment. I hope that has been a useful and interesting episode. It's one of the things that I focus on more than anything perhaps in my businesses, and I'm always thinking about it. Yes, sometimes I spend a bit more than I would like to because I pay for the location to future-proof it, because I pay for better, more durable materials, because I pay for better staff and certain systems that help us. But I haven't got here because I've been lucky. I've managed to build a successful and sustainable portfolio because I've consistently made decisions with the long term in mind, and I've future-proofed every single property along the way. So a lot of stuff for you to think about here. It's really difficult, guys, to implement this all at once. don't necessarily try and do this. This is a lot of food for thought, something that you want to try and start implementing into every single property as you move forwards.